Is Andrew coming on here?
No. He has like football.
Andrew has to take shadow reps for third team O-line tomorrow.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs Show. This is the Week 2 NFL show.
Woo!
So we got a little taste of football this past weekend. It's just a different type of year when football's around and you can just sit on the couch all day Saturday watching college football and all day Sunday watching NFL football, not to mention Thursday night and Monday night. And we'll start it off with the Cincinnati Bengals going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are minus 5.5, totals 47.5. It's a 425 start. We'll give it to Cam.
The league is a little bit overreacting with this Bengals week 1 performance. You know, the videos of Joe Burrow not being able to pick up a water bottle. I think that was a little bit of a reach. It was everything that could possibly go wrong that week just went wrong. And the Patriots aren't a bad defense. They play defense. They're known for their defense, and they got a good coaching staff that can game plan. With that being said, I think the Bengals are pissed off. They're mad. They want to make a comeback. And every year the Bengals and the Chiefs play, I feel like the spread is always minus 6.5, 7, 5 or something like that. And then the Bengals and Chiefs, they get a close game. And the Bengals are going to cover. This is going to be a tight game. I could see this game finishing around 20 to 23, 20, something close like that. So I would take the under as well at 46.5. I think that's a lot of points.
Just for clarification, it's 47.5. Do you want to change
Even
it?
better. Even better. 47.5.
It's not necessarily out of character for the Bengals to be starting slow. They do that. And it's also something to be said that the Jamar Chase situation has not been resolved yet. And he looked a little like out of sync. He still had like 60 yards, but I think that is something that's lingering over the Bengals. And I don't know that it's necessarily going to change just because he's been at practice this week. I am going to say that Joe Burrow is 3-1 against Mahomes in his career, which is something. But I think that these are different teams this year. And I think that the fact that the Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens by 7 last week, and I think that the Ravens are a better team than this Bengals team. This spread's 5.5. I'm going to take the Chiefs minus 5.5. I think this game is going to be not necessarily like a blowout, but I think that it'll be a Chiefs win, Chiefs cover. And yeah, I'm excited to watch. See it. I would love if the Bengals went back to being horrible. That would be awesome. But I don't think they're going to be. I just think that the Chiefs are going to take care of business this week, minus 5.5. And just because I need to come back in the standings, I'm going to take Rashee Rice touchdown. It's plus 140. So it covers the whole like it has to be plus money thing. Last week he led the Chiefs in catches and yards, and I think that the Chiefs are going to get him a touchdown this week. Law of averages, he will score a touchdown. So Chiefs minus 5.5, Rashee Rice touchdown.
You know, I'm starting off from the bottom this year. Had a rough week last week. I'm going to keep it simple this week. I'm just going to take the Chiefs to cover. I did not like what I saw out of the Bengals, even though, like how Tommy said, this is usual for them. They don't really start the season off strong. You know, they're not healthy on the front seven. So I feel like that has a very big effect on them, especially when you're going up against Patrick Mahomes. You first of all, you need to be able to defend. You need to be able to get pressure on him, and you need to be able to score enough points to match whatever he's going to do on offense. So with another week of practice with Jamar Chase, I think the connection is going to look a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to cover spread. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Chiefs.
I'm not going to go on a whole Joe Burrow rant again because I already did that in the preseason shows. Like I said, I'm not like I like him. I like Joe Burrow. I'm a fan of his, but I just don't see like all the hype of him being the best, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, or like second to Mahomes, whatnot. I will take the Bengals here. We see this for the last, ever since the Bengals beat them in the AFC Championship a few years back, 2021, 2022, whatever it was. Each year it's a close game between the two of them. It's clear by now that both of these teams get up for each other. It's not going to be a lazy game by either one of them. It's probably not going to be a blowout in any sense of the term. Bengals always playing close, no matter how good they are. The Chiefs are always good, and it always ends up being a close game. Something close, something in the 20s. So I'm going to take the over as well. I think both offenses are going to be clicking. So I'm going to stick with history here and go with the Bengals.
The Chiefs put up like 27 on a way better Ravens defense than the Bengals. The Bengals defense is depleted. It's gotten way worse over the years. So the Chiefs are definitely going to have a game. And then, as mentioned by most people, Burrow wakes up when he plays Mahomes. You know, the only reason Burrow is still in these top 3, top 5 arguments is because, well, he beats all these other good quarterbacks. He's always plays well against the other top quarterbacks in the league. That's what keeps him relevant. So you know that he's going to come to play. You know he's going to put up points. And you saw the Chiefs. Mahomes look great. You know, regardless of some penalties and stuff, you can't take away from the Chiefs' offense. They were unstoppable, and the Ravens are a top defense in the league. So I think the over is the easiest play here. But I also am going to agree with what most people have been saying with the Chiefs -5.5. I think the Bengals' lack of run game is evident. You know, they don't have Joe Mixon anymore. They have like Zach Evans. And with Higgins not playing and the chemistry not being there with Chase, I think their lack of weapons really showed. I think they have some rookie with a name I can't pronounce as their third receiver, and their other receivers aren't really anything. You know, the Ravens just lost by 7, but everybody, you know, has been saying the Ravens played really well. They played a great game. So I'm going to take Kansas City because I feel like Bengals don't really play that great in the beginning. Chiefs look really good, and I think that they can easily win by a touchdown. So I'm taking the over and Chiefs -5.5.
I really had no idea what to pick. For all the reasons perfectly laid out by Sam. For that reason, I'm just taking the GOAT. Sorry, everybody else. He's the GOAT. So I'm taking Chiefs -5.5. Sounds like a trap game, but don't bet against the GOAT.
I wish I could offer some differentiation, but not touching the total Chiefs spread. When you have a undrafted free agent in Keon White, actually he's not an undrafted free agent, but he's a very young player. He had 2.5 sacks on a crippled and depleted Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. I can only imagine what Chris Jones is going to do. Everyone talked about chemistry, so no need to divulge, but Chiefs spread is the way to play this game.
Shout out Martin walking through New York City.
New York. What's wrong with that?
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful scenery.
It is. It is a beautiful city. I'm not in the greatest part of New York right now, but I don't know. The streets are they're telling me Chiefs spread. So
looking at this matchup, like Martin said, Joe Burrow is not the same right now. He's injured. I don't trust him. I saw a video of him doing the exact same thing, trying to pick up a bottle. He doesn't look like he's at the caliber to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a great offense, defense, everything. I think everything started clicking at the end. I'm taking the Chiefs spread -5.5.
I think it's time that we start to say that the Bengals might be dying. You know, they lost Boyd, who was their strong number 2. They lost their running back, solid for them. Burrow's been hurt like 3 out of the last 4 years or whatever. I think they could just suck and stay out of sides.
Game 2 on the slate here. Bears at Texans. Texans are favored 6.5. Total's 45.5. This is Sunday Night Football. Sam Sweet Prince, Caleb Williams is 1-0 as a starter in the NFL, so we will throw it to him.
I hope y'all got a minute. I'll preface it with that, but the Bears in their last 10, I think, I saw some tweet. It was like they've lost their last 4 Sunday night games, and they've lost their last 7 or 8 road Sunday night games. Their last Sunday night win was the Rams in 18. Their last Sunday night road win was 2014 against the Niners, which they came back down from 17-0. This is going to be interesting. There is no room for error here. You're taking away a guy who's getting into the groove of being the quarterback of the Chicago Bears to bring in a new guy who's supposed to be kind of your savior right away. And it wasn't entirely his fault. As football's a team game. But he's got to be better than that. He's got to be a lot better than that. It was pretty painful to watch the drives from the offense. And as I was saying earlier in the show, I think the only guy who could go into that locker room on the offense after the game and say, I did what I could and like that's okay with that is DJ Moore. He had a couple great catches. I think he bailed Caleb out on a couple of them, especially on that 1 third down grab he had. Do I think that's going to be the Bears offense for this whole season? Absolutely not. And I think they'll get better. But I think that was the wake-up call to Bears fans and to, I wouldn't say the NFL, that, okay, we're not going to see Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady right away in Caleb Williams. It's gonna take a little time because it wasn't like he was getting sacked on every play, had no time, no open receivers. He was missing throws. Okay, I'm just going to put it the way it is. Missing throws. He took a 20-yard sack on 1st and 10 inside of Tennessee's 30. That's just shit you can't be doing as an NFL quarterback, and especially for someone who was supposed to be the chosen one and the savior of our franchise. That being said, Bears +6, obviously, duh. But that defense, and I think a lot of people underestimated Tennessee's roster. Will Levis didn't play bad. I mean, that pick six he threw was just, and you saw he did the whole surrender, the Roman Empire surrender on that. It was maybe the dumbest play I've seen in a while, just kind of flipping the ball up like that when all you would have had to do is punt and go to the worst offense of the week besides Carolina's offense might have even been better than ours. I'm not going to touch the total because as I watch every Bears game. They kind of play to the game kind of plays out how it will sometimes. Sometimes you'll see them pop off for points. Sometimes you'll see a dogfight. That's just how it works. So I'm not going to touch the total. But yeah, I think they have a good chance to go in and win this game. It's on the road. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy one. But I mean, that defense is built to withstand an offense like this. And I feel like once the offense gets in a little groove, works out some of the kinks, fires that center into Kingdom Come, I think they'll be all right. And hopefully we see Caleb throw some touchdowns, get his first touchdown pass. That'd be good. That'd be a weight lift off his shoulder. Maybe run one in, and who knows? Sky's the limit from there. Bears plus 6.5.
Week 1 rust. He's got all the hype in the world, so I think that's kind of not very fair for a 22-year-old or whatever. But I don't think the Texans necessarily look great. I think they almost lost to the Colts. I think they pulled a fourth quarter comeback, if I can remember. So I don't think the Texans are super scary. And like Sam said, Bears great defense. So give me Bears plus 6.
From what I saw from the Bears, I love the way that their defense looked. First of all, I think that they're going to have probably, outside of maybe the Niners, they're probably going to have the top 3 defense in the NFC. Like that their defense looks insane. And if there is going to be a team that could stop or, kind of hold down the weapons that the Texans have, it would be a team like the Bears with all those amazing DBs that they have. I just don't know if I could trust Caleb just yet. Week 2, he looked a little surprised week 1 about how fast the D linemen were. He was trying to do stuff that he usually gets away with, getting out of the pocket by instead of climbing up into the pocket, he would, go out. That stuff he used to do at USC, he would get away with. But in the NFL level, it's a little different. Everybody's just a little bit more athletic. I like the Texans here to cover, just because I think that their offense is good enough to put up some points against that very stout Bears defense. And I don't know if I trust the Bears offense just quite yet. I could be proven wrong. Caleb could come out and have a great game and end up winning and maybe covering. But I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna go with the Texans.
I said this last week about both of the games that we had on the slate. It's week 1. Everybody takes time to adjust. We saw it with the Bears, especially with the Bears. Then we saw it with the Texans as well. Both of the teams are great. I think the Bears had a lot of optimism about what they could do this season, and they saw week 1 and a lot of Bears fans, and I think everybody around the league started, losing hope. But it's week 1. You have a rookie quarterback, even though Jaden Daniels ended up having a better week than Caleb. I think he's a great
Daniels
quarterback.
lost and Caleb won. So for what that's worth.
Who played better? I think this week Caleb's going to come in. He's going to look over film, go over everything he's done, and fix it. On the other hand, Texans are a great team. People are forgetting what they have. They've got a great offense, great receivers, and a quarterback that is one of the best right now. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm not going to touch the spread because I think this game could go either way. I think either of these teams could wake up and show off week 2. I'm going to go ahead and take the over. Just because I think it's 2 offenses that saw what they wanted to see week 1. They're going to make adjustments, and I think this week is going to be it's going to be a high scoring game.
It's been touched on. Caleb did not eclipse 100 yards passing. The Bears did not have an offensive touchdown. I feel like the logical pick here is Houston because of their defense, because of their offense, very high powered. Their defense is facing a rookie quarterback who struggled in week 1. All of these things. However, it just feels like one of those games, especially with 6.5 spread. The Bears might not win, but I think that the fact that the Texans defense is primarily like their best players are on their defensive front. It's not like their secondary sucks, but I think their defensive front is going to cause a lot of pressure, which is going to force Caleb to throw the ball downfield more than he did last week. And despite what Nickson said about, defensive linemen being more athletic, I think that he's going to do some Patrick Mahomes type shit and escape the pocket, extend plays, make some off-schedule throws. And I think that the Bears are going to at least cover 6.5 here. I do think that it's going to take maybe a week, 2 weeks, few weeks for him to be able to settle in just like any other rookie. And like Martin said in the chat on Sunday, Peyton Manning was the worst quarterback in the NFL as a rookie, and now he's one of the best of all time. So it could take some time. But I think the Bears are going to cover this week, plus 6.5. And I just don't want to touch this total. Like 45.5 is a weird number. It probably will go over, but I don't want to put that on my card. So I'm just going to say Bears plus 6.5 here.
The Texans minus 6.5. I think that CJ Stroud is making unbelievable plays week 1. They put up 29 on a pretty decent Colts defense. You know, they were making plays when they needed it. Diggs was making plays. Joe Mixon showed a rushing attack that we didn't necessarily see last year. You know, last year, Dameon Pierce, he took a huge drop off and no one was really expecting that. Singletary played pretty well, but not like an elite RB1. He was just kind of like a good filler. Like, okay, Dameon Pierce is playing like ass. Devin Singletary is playing better. And now we're seeing like what CJ Stroud looks like with a real rushing attack with Joe Mixon, and it makes the offense way scarier. It opens up a whole lot more. Nico Collins made some unbelievable plays for anyone who watched the game. That game-sealing sideline catch on like 3rd down, that was insanity. And then obviously, you know, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, they have a really good squad. And unlike Tommy, I'm going to actually take the over, even though he said he was too basically.
I mean, at Coby, I don't think there's been a week you've ever been on the show where you don't take the total. You take the total every single game, every single week, which I respect you doing. But
yeah, I just couldn't hear you over my 4-1 record this week.
Shit.
I do like to take the totals and everything. You know, I think it's fun. That's why we do it. I like to take. If there's something to take, I like to take it.
I'm not totally counting out the Bears yet, Sam. I'm not. And I know that
they're 1-0. You can't count them out of anything.
I know, but like it's like the grossest 1-0 of all time. I'm not.
I mean, you want to know how the 85 Bears won? Look at their offensive stats.
Yes, this is the 85 Bears. I agree. I actually think Caleb is going to be good, and I do not agree that he's going to be able to come back in prime time. And you know, that's not the type of player. Anytime he was in prime time, he fucking choked. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but I don't think they cover, and I think that you go 9-8. That's a topic for another day.
That felt like more of like an attack on me and my team than it did a pick. Okay, so
it basically was.
That was you talking to me. That was you talking to me with a pick mixed in there. That was not a pick with a word.
Somebody already brought up the Peyton Manning comment that I made last week. We have the complete opposite side of the spectrum here. CJ Stroud had the best rookie quarterback season in recent memory, if not of all time. And I think him going head to head against Caleb, I'll say is this: like, I'm very excited for where the NFL is going. Like, the young crew we had with Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Not that they're getting old, like they're still in prime. But like with CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, like the NFL's in good hands. Texans spread. CJ Stroud is levels better than Caleb Williams right now. Defense will win games for sure. Not going to beat the Texans like they just beat the Titans. So Texans can win by more than a touchdown for sure.
I just think the Bears offense is just a mess right now. They'll probably get it together within week 4, week 5. I think they'll be a much better team, but it's problems beyond Caleb right now. Keenan Allen's, he's not running routes fully. He's jogging out there. The O-line's jogging out there when they want to pull. They just don't look committed as a team. So I think the Texans are going to run all over them this weekend, this weekend. So I'll take Texans spread.
It's time for the best part of the show, the locks of the week.
This is the magic pick of all picks. I'm taking the Ravens minus 9.5. And I know that is a lot of points, but hear me out. The Ravens are pissed off. They just lost by a toe. They lost by a toe. A little toe. They're not trying to handle that this week. They want to go out there. They want to win a game. They want to put some points on the board, and they want to win in an ordered fashion. They want to win in Ravens fashion. Defense is humming. The Raiders might probably put up a little 10 points, but other than that, it's all going to be Ravens. It's going to be straight Ravens. So Ravens minus 9.5.
Love that pick, Cam. That's a great pick.
If you look at the board, there's one game that stands out. I'm not trying to hate on Malik Willis because I do honestly feel bad for him and the way that things have gone for his NFL career. But at some point, you can't, necessarily make excuses for anybody. So the spread is entirely too low. The Green Bay Packers are only +3 against the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts lost by 2 to the Houston Texans last week, and we were just, going off about how great the Texans are. I think that the Colts are definitely going to cover this spread. 3 points is not enough. It'll at least be 7. It could be 2 touchdowns. Until proven otherwise, I don't think Malik Willis is a starter in the NFL. And I don't think that he's only been there for less than a month, so it's not necessarily fair for him to be expected to do great things. But it just is what it is. We're making picks here. We're trying to make money. I think that the Colts are going to at least cover 3. So I'll take the Colts here.
So I went ahead and picked the Jaguars at home against the Browns. ESPN bet has their total at -3. I like that number. Trevor Lawrence threw some great balls. He looked good. Pause. That was crazy. He looked good. He looked like he was comfortable in the offense. He got Brian Robinson, the rookie out of LSU. He got involved pretty early. And just I know the Browns defense is really good, but Lord Jesus, Deshaun Watson looks absolutely abysmal. Deshaun Watson looked like probably the 3rd worst quarterback in the NFL week 1. He looked absolutely garbage. So my lock of the week is the Jags back at home week 2 against a very, very sad, down bad Cleveland Browns team.
This one actually surprised me mightily, this spread. One, I'm a Lions supporter. I liked what Dan Campbell's doing.
God damn it.
But 7.5 is crazy. Baker actually played well. That team looks like they're a playoff team, a low-level wild card team. They look legit in terms of that level. I don't get the 7.5. The Rams are not good, and they took them to overtime. Again, I think the Lions could be good this year, but I think 7.5 is crazy.
Oh, the Rams are not good.
That's what I said.
That's crazy.
Tampa Bay plus 7.5. Baker's the man. Lock.
This team should be on everybody's no bet list, but I am taking the New York Giants against the Washington Commanders. The spread right now is Giants plus 1.5. Game is in Washington. Since 2019, these teams have played 10 times. Giants are 7-2-1. I've been spoken to a lot of Giants fans recently, and they always say, look, it's never too early to start thinking about the draft pick, but for some fucking reason, we always beat the Skins, and it always fucks up our draft pick. And that's just kind of the residual data that I shared, and I was given to it pretty early. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Giants cover against the Skins. That's the pick.
It's okay. Postman took my pick. I'm going with the Buccaneers plus 7.5 too. I get it was the Commanders, have a pretty bad defense. They're rebuilding it, whatever. But I mean, we've gone over this. I think Baker is a legit quarterback, and that Tampa Bay offense is legit. And I wouldn't say the Rams are a bad team. I disagree with that. And the Lions squeaked out with a win. But you saw what Tampa did last year. They went in and they played against good teams. They made it close every time. They made the playoffs. They went and beat the Eagles. They are not to be slept on. And 7.5 is a big spread. I don't think the Lions blow them out. I think it's in Tampa. Yeah, I think they keep it close. I think Tampa might win this game, honestly. I've always been preying on the downfall of the Lions, especially for the 1 year they've been good, and all of a sudden they think they're the shit and best NFL team ever. But yeah, I think Tampa covers this easily.
It is in Detroit, just for what it's worth.
Who cares? Baker on the road. Let's go.
I'm taking the Jags. I think the Browns might be the worst team in the league with Deshaun. So yeah.
My lock of the week, Commanders. The spread right now is -1.5. Vegas is absolutely hating on us just because of the performance last week. Jaden Daniels looked amazing. Our defense needs some work. We're going to get back in the lab and get it done. I honestly thought the Patriots were going to be the worst team this season, but obviously Daniel Jones proved me otherwise. Horrible quarterback, trash quarterback, poverty franchise. I'm going to this game. We're going to win. And I'm also going to put some money on. Take the commies.
No offense to anybody in this chat, but I am taking the under of the Broncos and the Steelers. I think Bo Nix struggled tremendously against the Seahawks defense that is not even in the same stratosphere as Pittsburgh defense. A little bit of data. Mike Tomlin is 25-5 against rookie quarterbacks, and I think he makes it 26-5. There's no way that TJ Watt is not going to run through the Broncos line. You know, Dante Jackson played a great week 1. They still have Joey Porter. I mean, I don't have to talk about the Steelers defense. The Steelers defense talks for himself. They're one of the best defenses in the whole entire league. The Steelers are going to have a really tough time moving the ball. Without George Pickens having a monster game, I really don't see how they're going to move their offense too tremendously. Their running game isn't amazing. The other receivers on the Steelers there's a couple of decent receivers, but they're not anything that if Pickens is in the game.
There is not.
Yeah, there's not enough for if Pickens is getting taken out the game, which Patrick Surtain did a fantastic job on DK Metcalf. If anyone watched, he was locking him up. And I think he can do something similar to Pickens where the Steelers are going to have a really hard time moving the ball if Pickens is getting shadowed by Surtain. And I think that if there is not a world, a universe where Bo Nix succeeds against the Steelers defense, it is at 36.5, I want to say, which again is a 30s total, which is super low, but I doubt they're even going to reach that. I'm expecting this to be like maybe like a 20-13 if they're lucky. If it's a good game, 20-13. I can't rely on 6 field goals again. Justin Fields playing another week. It's just, I think this game screams defense. And I'm coming with the under of 36.5.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Excited to watch some Week 2 football in the NFL. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And to tell all your friends, tell all of your significant others and family members and all of that. And we'll see you next week.
Like and subscribe.
Tell them again.